Beautiful sounds of guitar here, filling the studios here at Shaw TV. Welcome to the show on Shaw Spotlight in particular, episode number 165, season 9, episode 4. Our musical guest right in behind me right now, originally from a faraway island. We're very happy to have him on this island now, from the Comox Valley via Hawaii. Very pleased to have Anela Kahiamoe on the program. We're going to hear his music and have a conversation with him later on in the show. Also on today's show, we're going to highlight a music and dance series in Parksville. It's going to feature Anela as part of that lineup. Also, fellow word nerds like myself are very excited to hear about the buzz about an upcoming spelling bee fundraiser here in Nanaimo. For you folks playing along at home, that's B-E-E. Also, we're going to have a conversation about Alzheimer's Awareness Month and also reducing stigma associated with dementia. We've also got a Women's Wellness Expo on the docket, an investigation as well into life and the afterlife. But first, just like Todd Jones's favorite goaltender, Alan Bester, we're going to strap on the pads and hit the ice for a check-in with Nanaimo minor hockey. Not to be confused with Nanaimo minor history, which is full of coal tenders instead of goaltenders. All right, blocker save coming at you. The first round of applause. Keep on enjoying the show on Shaw.
Have you heard about the First Shift? It's a program for newcomers to hockey, and it was run this past fall by Nanaimo Minor Hockey. I have with me here the initiation director for Nanaimo Minor Hockey, Dave Zielinski. Dave, can you tell me a little bit about how and when the idea to host the First Shift program here came about?
Well, it's something we've talked about for the last couple of years, but this is the first time Nanaimo's actually been accepted to the program, and we talked about it through the summer when we got accepted, and we rolled with it last fall.
Good, good. Can you tell me a little bit about who's involved in First Shift? There's a number of different sponsors and things.
Well, you have Bauer, you have Hockey Canada, you've got the NHL, the NHLPA, and then the Minor Hockey Association. So you've got a lot of people involved with it, all volunteering, right? So
great. And it's targeted at what group of kids?
What group of kids? You're looking for boys and girls between 5 and 10 years old who have never played hockey. That's one of the stipulations. You have never registered for minor hockey anywhere. So they're completely brand new to the game. And what we do is we line up a cost of $200, giving you 6 ice sessions. All the gear is included, and it's just to introduce you to the game of hockey.
Well, let's look at a bit of the photos that we have, and
sure.
We have a few on file here. You can look over my shoulder at that, and I'll look at these, and we'll move them along.
Perfect.
Now, this is the sponsors board that was up at the day that was like Christmas for kids. They came in and got outfitted from skates to helmet.
Yeah, exactly. So that day there is about 4 weeks before we start the program. We've got the Bauer team that comes in. There's four university students or just out of university that they come in and they fully dress the kids head to toe. There's multiple stations set up through skates and helmets and all that type of stuff. And actually, the gentleman that was in that program ran the Duncan First Shift program.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we have some of our own personnel.
We do. We've got Heath Dennison on the left there. He was in charge of all the on-ice programming.
Good.
He runs a lot of that stuff for our association. And Tom Russell on the right there. And Tom's involved with everything to do with Nanaimo hockey. You all know that about Tom.
Good.
So
this is quite the little visual. This is a bunch of skates that they've cut the tops off of. So kids can slip their feet in and get sized very quickly.
And you and I, being in the game as long as we have, that's the first time I've ever seen anything like that. So kids were sized up instantly, right? Just
okay.
pumping
Let's
them
move
through,
along.
So, yeah.
Choice of helmets, and they're all fitted for the kids appropriately.
Yeah, correct.
Good. Let's see the next one. And this is one of the excited young kids.
He was first-time player. That's Alex. Great little kid, big smiles, and he was nothing but smiles for 6 weeks on the ice with us. So
good. Let's look at the next. This is all the kids getting addressed by the Bauer people.
That is. You got all the kids sitting on the ground. They've all got their white jerseys on, all the parents in the back, and they're listening to the Bauer team that came in and just explaining what the program is all about.
Good. Let's move along here. And that's them making that address, showing how the equipment is fitted on and how it's put on.
Yeah, because all the parents are new to hockey too. So not only the kids, but the parents. So they take a kid, they dress the kid from head to toe in front of everyone, showing them how easy it actually is to just get dressed up in hockey equipment.
Good, good. And here's the kids starting to get fitted for those skates in that quick.
Yeah, they're back to the
fitting
skates right
room.
there. Yeah, exactly.
This is one of the kids. Is this Alex again? Or
No,
is
this is Asher.
Asher, and he was a kid who couldn't skate when he came on the
could
ice.
barely step on the ice, and he's been nothing but great for us. He's big smiles. He's grade 1 here in Nanaimo, and he ran the whole program with us, and he's actually continued on with us, and he's starting to let go of that pylon for the first time, and we were on the ice a couple days ago, and he's actually starting to move, so just
Good.
another success from that program.
All right, let's look at the next shot. And this is instruction and drill work happening with the kids on the ice that happened Monday evenings.
Yeah, and that's a great shot because we have the junior A Clippers on the ice. We've got the Bucks on the ice, which is the junior pre-program in Nanaimo. We've got the Silver Tips on the ice. And then in the blue outfit as well, that is some of our coaches from the Kwame Leyland.
Great. We're going
Yeah.
to talk about them in a future program.
Yeah.
Here's the kids again, getting
Yeah.
station work,
There you
working
go.
on drills
You got
and
the
skills.
junior A Clippers out there. They're right in there, helping passing and skating and everything like that. So, and here's just showing more of all the volunteers that came out to run the program with us. That's a great shot. The Clippers right there.
Good.
Yeah.
Let's move on. And this is a
That's
group
us.
shot. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? I was the one who took that picture. I was actually on the ice for all those programs. So it's all those people plus me taking that picture. So, just a great group for 6 weeks. Nothing but fun.
So, what was the response from the community? Like you had 32 kids come in.
Yeah, with 30. We
30 kids.
30 kids came in. It's either we run 30 kids. So we weren't sure how to bring that out to the community. So one of the things we did is we didn't even really tell anyone. We didn't put it on the website. We didn't put it on Facebook, which we would normally do. And it just exploded through word of mouth. And within weeks, that program was filled up. We just weren't sure. It was a new program to us and everything like that. And moving forward, we're going to just broadcast it, show it all through Nanaimo because it's been a huge success for us.
Talk about moving forward. You're going to run it again this coming season?
We are. We just applied. We applied with Bauer about 2 weeks ago, and we're jumping up from 30 kids to 45 kids. We'll find out. We'll hopefully find out right away if we've been accepted, and we will run this program again next fall around Thanksgiving.
And the takeaway is that some of those kids have now enrolled at Christmas time into minor hockey programs.
They have. So that's one of the things that we do is once these kids are done that program, they get the option of joining minor hockey. And they all started in January. About 50% of the kids actually transitioned into hockey, and they're wearing jerseys right now, and they're on the ice playing with our Nanaimo teams, where 3-4 months ago, they weren't even doing that. So huge success.
So really what it's all about is in getting those kids introduced to hockey, developing that love,
Yep.
and getting those parents used to what it's all about because they've been in other sports, may not have been in any sport.
Yep. Whole point of the program, right, is just easing them into hockey, showing them love the game, the ease of the game in the most relaxed possible way.
So don't forget, it's the Nanaimo Minor Hockey Association that's planning this. If you want to check their website, check their Facebook page. Dave, thank you for coming out.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a great thing. The program's called First Shift.
Correct.
And good quality equipment and a great program. Thank you for coming again. Let's throw it over to Lewis, who's got a special guest.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. It's good to see some good attention is being paid to the important matter of youth activities, and that's great to see. And speaking of important matters that deserve attention, it's no secret, we all know that while we're here on Earth, we've got a certain span of life, and when it's over, well, we die, of course. And we're all up to speed with that fact. Now, what we may not be up to speed with is what happens afterwards. Tonight I have with me Dr. Lynn of Echevarria, who's going to shed some light on this topic. Dr. Echevarria, thanks for joining me.
Yes, you're welcome. Good to be here.
Tell me about this presentation. You developed a fascinating presentation on called Exploring Life in the Afterlife. How did it get started and what's it all about? Can you tell me?
Well, it's a big topic, as you know, but we can include a few highlights here. Near-death experience really broke into our cultural field in the West here in 1975. Dr. Raymond Moody published a book, Life After Life, and I think our audience will probably be very familiar with that book. It was the first one that was talking about near-death experiences. And Dr. Moody interviewed 150 people. He had heard about these experiences in his job as a physician. And it was interesting to him because these people lived all over the United States. They did not know one another, and yet there were commonalities and patterns in their experience. So this intrigued him. So after Dr. Moody, there's been 45 years of research on this actual topic by academics and by people in medical fields, all different fields of inquiry. So at the same time, when I read Dr. Moody's book, I was also a little interested as a layperson in quantum physics. And they had been looking at the areas of atoms and subatoms. But then they started looking at the energy of human beings and how human beings' energy was connected together and how matter and so on was connected to the universe. So these two topics really had an interface for me, and then also spiritual perspectives. I've been interested in the pure teachings of religion, and by pure I mean not man-made interpretations of religion, but original spiritual teachings from the major world religions. So about 3 years ago, I thought I'd been asked to give a talk in the Yukon, where I lived for some years, and I thought, hey, this is an opportunity to put together these areas of research and see how they're all, are they interfacing now? And that's what I did. And my talk sort of started from there.
Now, I understand you mentioned that there's the aspect of science, and there's some scientific studies that have been done in this matter of life after death. How does a scientist approach the matter of this matter of life after death, and what have they found?
Well, it's been very helpful actually that CPR, cardiac pulmonary resuscitation, really came on the scene and has helped to resuscitate people and bring them back to life. So we have a scenario now where people are suffering cardiac arrest, but they are in situations, for instance, like hospitals, where there are all of the equipment that can record their experience, can actually pinpoint the time of death, which is recorded. So right away you have you can have a verifiable death. And then when a person comes back from that verifiable experiences and starts talking about this journey they have been on, well, that is a subjective experience, but when they can share that with researchers, then researchers start compiling in a scientific way the patterns within those experiences.
And what are some of the things they've found? What are the commonalities? What are the experiences that people have passed on and come back to tell about it?
Right.
What have they said?
Well, I think many of us know this because there's been so many interviews on television, Oprah, movies. So I think we're all quite familiar with the general features. And I have to say that not every person that has an NDE experiences all these things. But for instance, the person discovers they're out of body. They don't have the pain they had when they were in their body. They are moving. They may be in a landscape. People's experiences can vary, actually. For instance, children say they go through a sparkly tunnel. Some people don't go through a tunnel at all. They may find themselves in a particular landscape, in a cave. They may find themselves by a river and waiting for a boatman to take them on a journey. So there are various elements to the NDE experience, but often they are welcomed in this new landscape by spiritual beings. They may be welcomed by family members that have passed on beforehand, and they feel this unconditional love and bliss that welcomes them. Then there may be other features from there.
And they come back transformed. Many of them, they're new people, they're different people, isn't that true?
Yes, absolutely. That's what fascinates me really, is how it might affect their daily life. They may have a very positive experience. On the other hand, they may have a wonderful experience, but they come back to our world where people may be not necessarily believing what they have experienced, or they may come back to a dysfunctional family life where the people don't want to hear about bliss and unconditional love and so on. So what researchers have found is that it takes some years for a person to actually work through their NDE.
Now I understand because I helped you produce this video on your presentation. Now, if people want to, it's now on YouTube, isn't it?
Yes.
Now, how would people that would want to see your whole presentation, how would they do that?
Yeah, it's the title, Exploring Life in the Afterlife, Near-Death Experience, Science and Spiritual Perspectives. So that would be the title you'd look for, along with my name, Lynn Echevarria. And then we have a talk up on YouTube video of 1 hour and 15 minutes with subtitles for those that need them.
Well, listen, Lynn, I really want to thank you for joining me. This is a fascinating topic that we're all pretty much interested in, and you've shed a lot of light. If people want to see more of this, they can check out the Facebook page, which is visible on the screen as we speak, and they may do that. So, Lynn, thanks very much for joining us.
Yes, you're
Really
welcome. Good to
appreciate
be
it.
here. Thanks, Louis.
And I want to throw it over to Cathy Holmes, who is dealing with another an important topic that deserves attention, which is Alzheimer's Awareness Month and reducing stigma associated with dementia. Cathy.
Thank you so much, Louis. What a fascinating conversation. We certainly encourage you to look up that information, and you're going to learn a whole bunch by doing so. But right now we are going to talk about another very important subject, and that is Alzheimer and Dementia Awareness Month. Our guest is Jane Hope, I think the pinnacle expert in this field on Vancouver Island. Welcome, Jane. Tell us about the events that are coming up for Alzheimer's Awareness Month.
All right, thanks, Cathy. So January is always Alzheimer's Awareness Month, and the Alzheimer's Society of BC would like to really help build a dementia-friendly province that will include people with dementia in every possible activity they can be involved in, and reduce the stigma.
The stigma is probably the biggest piece. There are so many people that are caring for older adults, whether it's their parents or loved ones or friends, and even ourselves are worried about the possibility that we may acquire dementia. What might that look like for someone to feel a bit more calm about that?
So I think the more information that people can find out about dementia, the better.
Yes.
The more understanding they have about it. We often hear from family caregivers and people themselves that are living with dementia that once they've been diagnosed, their friends and family kind of back off.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I think that a lot of that is due to the stigma, but also due to the lack of information. So they don't really know how to communicate with them. They don't really know what to say or what they should say. So, people learning about it, talk to somebody who's living with dementia, ask them questions.
Absolutely.
That's the name of our campaign this year.
Absolutely. It's I Live with Dementia, Let Me Help You Understand is the name of the campaign.
Yep.
But you really talked about something that I think is a key issue, and that is getting educated and being informed. And I understand on February the 5th, there's Shaping the Journey, which is a workshop, seminar.
Yep.
Tell us about that.
Okay. So Shaping the Journey is a 6-week education program that is for people who have early dementia and their care partners. This one is not really for the general public. This is specifically for people who are experiencing the symptoms of dementia.
Right.
To come and learn how to live well with it. I totally believe that people can live well with dementia and that we can help them do that. So we go through talking about, what is it like to get a diagnosis? How does that feel?
Yes.
Life after diagnosis, how to stay healthy, who to tell. There's lots and lots of information. What is dementia? How does it impact the brain? All those sorts of things.
And I really want to, if you don't mind, just for a quick second here, there's a bit of confusion about Alzheimer's and dementia, and which is Alzheimer's and which is dementia, or is it an umbrella, or what could you, in crib note version, give us an idea, really, what is the difference?
Okay, so dementia is an umbrella term. And under that umbrella, there are a whole variety of different diseases and conditions that cause dementia.
Okay.
So dementia really is a term for a set of symptoms. And so under the umbrella of dementia, we're going to see Alzheimer's disease, vascular dementia, Lewy body dementia, probably about 80 or 90 different diseases and conditions. And so what happens is a person develops the disease, so say it's Alzheimer's. As the disease progresses, it damages brain cells.
Right.
And as those brain cells, neural pathways are damaged, we start to see the symptoms. So short-term memory loss, confusion, changes in personality, disorientation, misplacing things, that sort of thing.
Just because I misplaced my keys doesn't mean I have dementia, right? Or if I've gone into, because as we get older, sometimes memory becomes an issue, and we start to see what those memory issues can do to us, and we get a little bit scared, right? I know myself, I think I probably have most of the symptoms most days, right? When do we know that it's time to start looking in A, education, and B, diagnosis, if there's the potential that Alzheimer's or dementia may exist for us?
Right. So I think that, if you start to be concerned about it, and you are finding that you are experiencing several of the symptoms and they're not going away, then there's all sorts of other things that it could be, but it's a good time to go see the doctor. Yes. And go to the doctor prepared with a list of, I find that I'm forgetting this, I'm not forgetting where my keys are, but I'm forgetting what they're for.
Right.
Or I can't remember who the people around me are, or, and those may be some later stage symptoms, but you never know, because everybody is very unique with dementia. It impacts everybody differently.
And I think that that's an important point too, is that Alzheimer's and dementia for one person isn't going to exhibit the same way in another at all. But also, when we're thinking about Alzheimer's, a big fear is that my family is going to forget me. My mom's not going to know, my dad's not going to know, my husband, my wife, they're not going to know who I am anymore. And so there's this immediate fear that comes up, but it isn't always true, is it?
No, absolutely.
Really important.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. My mom had dementia for probably 15, 20 years. She never forgot us. And I think that also what happens is people go back in time. Yeah. So somebody who's maybe, 82 thinks they're 25. And there's a 42-year-old woman standing there saying, I'm your daughter, when she thinks her children are 3 or 4 or whatever. Yeah. So it's not that she's forgetting them, it's that she doesn't recognize them at the age that they're at.
And I think that's such a good point, is because it's not necessarily that piece of it that we get locked up in that fear, but in actual fact, it could look very different. So I just want to go back to the date, because we're running out of time here, so I want to make sure that people are aware. The workshop, or the program that we're talking about, I'm so sorry, I'm having a moment myself of trying to find my own words, right? It's February the 5th, and how does a person find out more about this incredible opportunity? Okay, so for this, as well as any of our other programs and services, and we have lots, you call our dementia helpline at 1-800-936-6033, or the Nanaimo Resource Center, which 250-734-4170. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Jane, for joining us. It's always a pleasure to share the stage with you. Now we're going to talk to Joanne Hogan, actually. We've got some more information to share with you regarding the MAC on Saturday afternoon.
Thank you so much, Cathy and Jane. I really appreciated, Cathy, that you asked Jane about the difference between dementia and Alzheimer's and got that clarification, because I hear that, around the water cooler discussions about which is which and which falls under which. So thank you for the clarification, and best of luck for increasing awareness about your event coming up on February 5th. Talking about events here, I'm here with Rob Peterson, and he's going to talk about musical events that are going on in the MAC in Parksville. Well, there's 2 left in a schedule that's been going on for most of the year, right?
That's right, and the MAC is a local acronym for Macmillan Arts Center. And what we have is a 7 live performance series that run from September. We have 2 left. We have 1 happening on Saturday, February the 8th, with the George Strait Big Band.
Which is pretty close. It's not too far away.
It's coming up, yeah, and tickets are going fast. And so it is an afternoon, what we classify as a tea dance series. So depending on the number of people that show up, it shrinks the dance floor or expands the dance floor, or one or the other. The finale is going to be with the performer that's here today, Anela Kahiamoe, and he's going to bring his band called The Experimenters. So it's a full band, and that's on Saturday, March the 14th.
Okay, and overall the program of all the different acts that have performed throughout the season, your season, they've focused mostly on big band jazz, is that correct?
It's a jazz-centered series. Its target audience is Well, it's an older demographic that not that keen on coming out to an evening performance. And so the likes of, we do things like Tony Bennett, Duke Ellington, Frank Sinatra, that era of music. So the concept of an afternoon scenario is that people come in, they're home before dark. And we are running it from September through to March, and we're going to do it again. We haven't actually lined up our performers yet, but so far so good. I'm a co-producer of the series along with Jennifer Bates. Jennifer is the executive director of the Macmillan Arts Center, which is a school, an old school that was opened in 1913. Okay. And in 1976, the school was shut down, and it's now the centerpiece of arts and entertainment for the Parksville area.
So you two have been very resourceful in finding acts throughout Vancouver Island, as is the case with our performer today.
Quite.
Yeah.
I come from the Comox Valley. We moved to Parksville a couple of years ago, and you know, the Comox Valley is a real hotbed for live music. Down in Parksville, we've been there with my wife there for 2 years, and there's places like facilities like Ground Zero, Acoustic Lounge. They do live music, 2 or 3 live shows a week. The old schoolhouse in Qualicum does shows, I think, once a month. And we're just a small player, basically, once a month. But the key is catering to an audience that loves the Tony Bennett's and the Frank Sinatra tunes, the Bobby Darin tunes, and what have you. So.
And there are various ways to get the tickets to go see these performers at the last 2 shows at the MAC this year. There's calling them. There's calling the MAC Center.
That is correct.
Ordering online through their websites.
Yeah.
And getting them at the door too, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
So if you're not comfortable with ordering them online, then phone the MAC and they will reserve for you, and you can pay cash as you come in the door.
Okay, so that's definitely going to make it a lot easier to get everybody to show up and take part in these great afternoons. And there's a teetotaler tone to all of this, right? I mean, they're called the tea dances because there are no alcoholic beverages served at these events.
No, we serve a tea and coffee at the break. Performances start at 2 o'clock. Doors open at 1:30. The idea with the tea dance is it's by donation when you pour yourself a cup of tea or a cup of coffee. By donation to the local Oceanside chapter of Ovarian Cancer Research. So it's a small little side fundraiser on their behalf.
Well, it's great that the community gets together and not only enjoys themselves, but contributes like that to the local chapter like that.
And the room itself is an old school room. And so the beauty of the whole afternoon is that you're very close to the music. We had a packed house there a couple of weeks ago, and I perform in a band. We kind of renamed it for the event, but it's Ralph Barrett and the Sinatra Dance Band. So we play a lot of Sinatra, Bobby Darin stuff. We had 81 tickets sold, and it was awesome. But they're right on top of the music, so it's really a super engaging.
So it's an intimate and a chance to dance, an intimate event. And I just wanted to talk a bit more about the 2 bands that are performing: George Strait Big Band Dance Band, which means you got to get up and dance there when you listen to this group, and of course Anela Kahiamoe and his band, the Experimenters. Tell us a bit more about what kind of music they're going to be playing at their performances.
Well, the Georgia Street Big Band is the latest incarnation of big band music from the Comox Valley. It dates back about 80 years. This band has been a band for about 12 years. It's expertly conducted by Greg Bush, who's a professor of jazz studies at Vancouver Island University, who has loyally come up every single Monday night from his home in Nanaimo to conduct our band. 17 people, plus conductor, plus a vocalist.
So there's just as much audience as band there, right?
Exactly, yeah. Now with Anela Kahiamoe, his band, the Experimenters, we have a Nashville quality pedal steel player, bass, drums, and Anela drives the bus. And he is very, very versatile, elite performer, I would have to say, for Vancouver Island. Just a totally enjoyable experience every time he picks up his guitars. He plays ukulele, acoustic guitar, electric guitar, and it has a very engaging manner about him, and people love his shows. So.
It sounds like they're both going to be delightful shows. So to wrap up again, they're going to be performing at the MAC in Parksville, the Macmillan Center, Macmillan Arts Center.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's February 8th for the Georgia String
Saturday,
folks,
February 8th.
and March 14th for.
Yep. Anela Kahiamoe and the Experimenters, and doors open at 1:30. Performances are 2 sets, 2 till 4.
Okay, and if we miss those last 2 shows, there's going to be another series of shows next year too.
That's correct.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Rob, for your time.
Thanks for having
And
me.
speaking of Anela, let's hear some more of his music.
Thank you so much for that beautiful music, Anela. Now we're going to move on to something else here in Nanaimo that's just coming up in March. And if you can misspell, which is, by the way, one of the most popularly misspelled words in the English language, then this just might be the event for you. Today I'm joined by Samantha Letourneau from the Literacy Central, Vancouver Island, and you're the executive director. I want to hear all about your new event.
Okay, great. Where should we start?
So you've come up with this wonderful new concept to hold a spelling bee. Tell us about it.
Yeah, it fits within the concept of literacy. It's our first annual spelling bee event. It's a fundraiser to 13 teams will take part. We're encouraging humor and people to come in costumes and just have an enjoyable night of spelling words and raising funds for literacy in the central Vancouver Island area.
So the event is going to take place at the Port Theatre, but it's not in the theatre proper.
It's in the lobby of the Port Theatre on March 2nd. Doors open at 6 o'clock and the event starts at 6:30 p.m.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now tell me, how do you make up a team?
So we're accepting teams between the size of 4 to 6 people. if it's 6 people, it's $50. It's a fee of $300. They can register. They can get the registration form from our website, or they can come into our organization on 19 Commercial Street and sign up. And they can come and pay directly in our well-read bookstore.
Okay. And when is registration closed? That's an important date.
Registration will probably close around the end of February.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you have any teams already?
Right now we have 7 teams.
Okay.
So if people are interested in taking part in a humorous, entertaining evening and spelling some words, then we highly suggest you contact us and fill in your registration form.
Okay. So are these businesses or families, or who makes up the team?
We have a real mix of people submitting registration forms from other not-for-profit organizations, businesses, individuals, I think, that just really love spelling, that are putting teams together. Yeah.
So it might be fun for, say, maybe the Clippers to put together a team and challenge maybe another sports group or something in Nanaimo. So there's ways for all different organizations and enterprises to do something.
Yeah, I think that's a fabulous idea.
Yeah, I think that'd be great. You know, get some real competition going. And you know, when I was doing a little research, I was some of the other most common misspelled words were words like pharaoh, weird, intelligence. I don't know about you, but the one that always gets me for whatever reason is rhythm. I don't know why.
Rhythm's a tricky one.
I always have a struggle with that one.
Yeah.
But you know, when I think about it, we've become a society that's so focused on technology. We literally have all the words at our fingertips.
Yes,
right?
or spell check, etc.
Yeah.
When we're doing emails or working on documents.
I mean, it's not as automatic. I have to think about it a lot more when I'm typing now, and you know, we have this reliance on the technology to spell for us. But I mean, it's such an important part of literacy.
Yes, it is.
And your organization does amazing work and has been for 29 years.
Yeah, Literacy Central Vancouver Island's been around for 29 years, providing adult tutoring programs, so free adult tutoring programs, helping people with their basic literacy needs.
Okay. And when you say basic literacy needs, what does that encompass?
Well, those are the foundations of literacy, so reading, writing, math, even, you know, comprehension. You know, people can read things, but the comprehension may not be there. So, I mean, it kind of takes into account those areas. You know, we have statistics of over 700,000 British Columbians have challenges with literacy. And that's quite high for, you know, a fairly wealthy province, a fairly wealthy country. So, yeah.
Well, you know, one of the things when I was reading on your website was about, you know, things that so many of us really just take for granted. For example, being able to sit down and to read a story to your child at night.
Exactly.
When they go to bed. And I mean, it's one of those things that can carry on from generation to generation, and it builds fear and amongst people, and there's so much stigma. It can be extremely isolating, you know, but I mean, this is why I love this idea of a spelling bee. I think it's great. I'm hoping you're going to get families. I hope, you know, is there an age limit to how old people can
No,
be?
there's not an age limit. I mean, it is an evening event. Okay. You know, there is a cash bar. So, yeah, you know, so
probably
people can take that into account. I mean, that's up to the parents. But no, there is no particular age limit, yeah.
And I know you're going to have a silent auction
we'll have silent
as well,
auction items,
and there's other ways for people. So it is $300 per team, but there's no cost to attend, right? So anybody can go to
Well,
the
we
event?
only have enough space, so it's really the teams. The teams are the audience, and the team are participating.
All right, and cheering each other on.
Exactly.
And where are you judges coming from?
From the Literacy Central Vancouver Island staff and board. Yeah.
Okay. I really want to see the families and people that come in costume too. I think there's that opportunity to be
there's an opportunity.
Yeah,
we're really hoping people just come and have some fun with this.
Just wanted to touch on, you know, you were mentioning you have the youth, the adult, family, Aboriginal programs, but you also have some other great things at your store. you have the bookstore downtown.
Yeah, so Literacy Central Vancouver Island runs what's called Well Read Books. So that's our social enterprise that supports all our literacy programs. And as you mentioned, we do have a family, Indigenous, adult, and youth literacy program to support all those learners.
Right.
And then we also have a computer refurbishing program. So for people who can't afford a computer that are returning to school or are in school, they can apply to literacy and receive a computer to help them with their studies.
And of course, you're always looking for volunteers at the bookstore.
Right now we need volunteers in our bookstore on Saturdays and Sundays. So if anyone's interested in that, they can come down and meet with us. And we're always looking for donations for our computer refurbishing program.
Right.
In particular, laptops. We are in a real need for laptops.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see all of you at the Spelling Bee, hopefully, on March the 2nd. Now I'm going to throw things back over to Matt, who's going to have a chat with Annalee.
Great stuff. Thank you so much, Jane and Samantha. And I've always maintained the only thing cooler than a talking dog is a spelling bee. I've been waiting the whole show to say that. Anyways, very excited to move on from those jokes and chat with our musical guest. I hope you're also very excited to meet him as well. Originally from Hawaii, now in the Comox Valley and making amazing music no matter what island he might happen to be on. Anela Kahiamoe, welcome to the show on Shaw.
Oh, thank you very much.
Just had a great time chatting with you before the show and obviously hearing your music so far. But I do want to ask first, I've never been to Hawaii. Should I go?
Oh, yeah, you should go. It's only a 5.5-hour plane ride. East, yeah.
It takes longer to get to Hope, for goodness sakes. I mean, is there any particular island there I should visit out, or one place I should check?
My favorite island is the Big Island. You got the volcanoes, you got you got snow on Mauna Kea, and you can go surfing the same day and golfing.
All right, so
yeah, it's a beautiful island.
Awesome. All right. I do want to touch on your background here a little bit, too, before we get back to the music. I saw a write-up that stated you were one of only about 7,000 or so folks from pure Hawaiian descent.
Yes, I'm one of the few pure Hawaiians that did my ancestry DNA test, and it came out that I'm pure Hawaiian.
Okay,
and, not too many of us left. My dad passed away 2 years ago, so that's one less pure Hawaiian.
I think I heard you in another interview say that there's not many Kahiamoes.
Oh, Kahiamoe was a given name by the king of Oahu, who said that this family is to sleep during the day, because my name means to sleep. Kahiamoe means to sleep. You're to sleep during the day and watch me at night. So we would guard the king at night. That was my family's job.
And then not a bad time frame for a musician to be up and around as
well.
Oh,
I'm up late every night. Oh, yeah.
Right. I also want to ask that now, most of our viewers, I think, would imagine that Hawaii is a little more of a romantic destination than Vancouver Island, but it was romance that brought you to the island.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, of course. It's, 5 feet 10, brown eyes, long legs. Hey.
Hey. Well, big thanks to have you here now. So, and now when you first moved here, I mean, you were very busy in the music scene in Hawaii. Were you very optimistic you could carve out a career playing music?
I was really worried. I thought I could not make a living here because in Hawaii I had a lot of gigs. I worked a lot, and when I came here, I actually got so depressed I had SADS, and I figured it out. I went out to play with the open mics. People saw me, and I got off my butt, and I kept playing and playing. And I tell you, I'm making a pretty good living that I thought I could never do. Never say never. That's what I say.
Yeah, and it is pretty amazing looking at your gig history here. Music festivals, food festivals, pubs, restaurants, fundraisers. You've pretty much played almost anywhere you can. And I do want to ask, you mentioned, the music sort of pulled you up a bit. Were there any particular musicians in the Valley that you sort of credit to really helping you get out there and keep playing?
Well, the first person that I worked with was Doug Cox. And Doug Cox does the Vancouver Island Music Festival. We're called the Poi Boys. And I love working with Doug. And there's Luke Guthrie that we do a duo to. And there's a whole bunch of musicians in Comox that I really enjoy working with.
Yeah, it's such a wonderful scene. And so you mentioned, of course, music, of course, something that's probably really brought you up. And you stated in other interviews, through your music, you like to spread the aloha. Tell us what that is.
Well, spreading the aloha is, to me, I think my job is to make sure that when you leave, you had a better day. That I made you feel better. Just spread the aloha. That's pretty much what it is.
Yeah, we've done some wonderful job with the music, I know, for our crew here already and our viewers. So real quick here, and again, coming up, you're performing with your band, The Experimenters, at the McMillan Arts Center in Parksville, March 14th. We heard about earlier here in the show. Any other performances, or where else can people find more about your music?
I'm at the Aerosmith pub this Friday night.
Aerosmith Brewing Company,
yeah,
in Parksville.
Yeah. I'm there this Friday night, so come by.
Perfect. All right. Great beer, great music.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So also, hear another song now. Tell us a bit about the next song we're about to
the
hear.
song is called Aloha Wau, which means all my love for you. And I just wrote it, I wrote it a few years ago on a guitar, but I'm going to do it on my little ukulele because everybody associate me with this instrument because I'm Hawaiian. But it's actually a Portuguese instrument. It came from Portugal. The Portuguese brought it. But we just call it ukulele because it looks like fleas jumping when the Portuguese played it. And uku is flea, and lele means to jump.
All right.
So
great music, and we've learned something here.
Thank you.
Right. Anela, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much, Matt.
I'll turn it back over to you. Great
Appreciate
music here
it.
on the show on Shaw.
Mahalo. Like the morning sun with its warm embrace, I see the beauty in your smiling face. Makes me love you more and more each day, just to be close to you. Aloha Wau. Ooh, this feeling that I have for you, it's from my heart, I know. Yeah, I know it's true. I see it in your eyes, I feel it in your touch, the love that we have made. Ooh, true love will never part. Come and take my hand, I'll show you all my love, my sweet pikakele. Aloha Wau. That I have for you, it's from my heart, I know, you know I know it's true. I see it in your eyes, feel it in your touch, the love that we have made. True love can never part. Come and take my hand, I'll show you all my love, my sweet pikakele. Aloha Wau. Aloha Wau. Aloha Wau.
Woo! I am in my happy place. Aloha! Mahala. That was amazing. I don't know about you guys, but that warm Hawaiian breeze comes through his lyrics like gentle, fabulous, extraordinary wellness cool stuff is what that is. Real wellness cool stuff. With us now is Teresa and Isabella Awesome. Yes, they are. Awesome. Teresa and Isabella Ostman, who are both pretty darn awesome. Yes. And you probably know them through wellness news. And they are very famous in our town for putting on the Women's Wellness Expo. And I think this is the third year in a row, right?
It is.
Hey, Teresa, how are you, darling?
Officially, Wellness News Women's Expo. I am great. We're really excited. Yes. We've got about 10 days to go. It's on February 8th.
Yes.
And
it's going to be so fun.
It is.
There's something wonderful about self-care, and coming to a place like the Wellness Expo would allow a person to really imbibe in all kinds of self-care, right, Isabella?
Well, it's a great place to come, bring yourself, bring your daughter, your mother, your grandmother, your neighbor, your friends. It's a day to celebrate women,
yes.
to enjoy. There's lots of stuff to do. You can spend the whole day. You know, in the last couple of times, people have come first thing at 10 o'clock and they're still there at 2 in the afternoon.
But that's because there's so much to offer.
That's right.
And this year, there's even more variety, right? Like every year it just gets better and better. What is really special about this year?
Well, this year we have added fashion shows. And Rack Fashions and PG Fashion Exclusives are both doing fashion shows, and they both have a wide variety of different types of clothing that they're going to showcase. So yeah, that's new. There's a fashion show at 11:30 and another one at 1:30.
And the fashion show, are you in the fashion show this year?
I am not. Oh,
I am.
Remember, I've done. Oh, you are.
I know.
Yeah.
Rack Fashions has asked me if I will do that. And we also are going to do, you know, there's so much that's going to happen at that event. And there's so many opportunities for people to, you know, share the different things that they're doing within our community, right?
Absolutely.
Can you give us some idea, Isabella, perhaps, or between the two of you, some of the exhibitors this year?
Oh, well,
I kind of threw you under the bus. I probably should have let you.
No, we have to date we have over 100 exhibitors, and we've still have, the phone is still ringing. Do you still have room? Can we still come in? We want to provide a really interesting and varied expo to our audience. So we only accept 3 exhibitors from each industry. So if your industry is already filled, then you can't come in this time, and we have had to turn people away.
It's the best of the best, the echelon to fabulous.
It's exclusive, and we do that because attendees don't want to see 10 of the same thing.
Absolutely.
And companies who are paying to be there, they don't want to see 10 of their competitors there.
So it gives people an opportunity to have some variety.
Yeah, there's a wide variety. Yeah. We have products for well-being, lots of shopping, Valentine's Day shopping. Guys, this is not just, you know.
Actually, there's a lot of men that attend. Last year and the year before,
maybe
quite
10%,
a few.
like not
well,
huge
women
amounts,
bring our, you know, people, right?
Yeah. So there's shopping opportunities, there's jewelry, there's self-care, there's holistic healing, practitioners, a chiropractor, acupuncturist, so really the whole gambit of well-being.
Tell us about this very important ticket.
Yeah, we have a bunch of tickets. The event is free. It doesn't cost anything to come to the event, so please come. But if you happen to get your hands on one of these very coveted tickets, and you bring it back to us, this ticket is worth 50 cents to a local charity. And in this year, it is the Santa Club. So they will be receiving 50 cents for each ticket that comes back to us at the Wellness Expo. So in fact, we are paying you to come.
Oh yes, we are. We're paying you to come. Where do you get these tickets?
Well, you could come and see me.
Good plan.
These tickets are being distributed wherever you pick up your wellness news. So,
and just for those who don't know what the wellness news is, maybe we could just give them a quick brief over, describe it just so people know.
Yeah, officially it's the Wellness News, Choices for Healthy Living, and it's all about health and wellness. So it's a newsletter with health tips on anything to do with health and wellness. And that's how we actually got into doing the Wellness News Women's Expo, is because our newsletter only has so much room. And the Expo,
it's a one-pager, right?
Yeah. And the Expo allows us just to showcase so many more businesses and bring so many more health and wellness to the public.
Well, I think that the good news about these kinds of shows is it gives people, women in particular, a chance to bond and to hang out. So, you know, are there going to be refreshments there, places for people to just sort of sit and, you know, talk to the exhibitors, but maybe have some refreshments while they're there?
Well, the conference center
of course
has lunch, and I think we requested healthy good soups and sandwiches and a chance to have coffee and sit there in the lobby and just take a break. And the Santa Club is providing a coat check because if the weather is the way it has been, rainy.
Not this year though.
Not like last year.
The Hawaiian sun is
the Hawaiian
not
sun.
the Pineapple Express.
We're bringing the ukulele in to make sure that there's some, you betcha, absolutely.
One thing we haven't touched upon, I want to make sure we do, is health talks.
Yes.
We have 12 health talks, and they're amazing topics, from women's hormones to dealing with boundaries and setting boundaries.
Oh, wow.
To incontinence. I know nobody wants to talk about it, but it's important. And we even have someone talking about how to talk to your doctor or healthcare provider about medical cannabis.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so it is really the whole gambit. So really, all the exhibitors you have to visit, the health talks, the fashion shows, a lot of the exhibitors. Oh, there's a
Give me those tickets. Give me those tickets, baby. Give me those tickets.
There's
Listen,
another
everybody.
demo. There's another demo that we're doing, and that's spray tan. So if you've ever wondered about a full body spray tan, there's actually going to be demos of that taking place.
Well, I need a spray tan, baby.
Yeah.
If I ain't going to have a Hawaiian moment, I'm having a spray tan. I'm all over that. You need to attend this event. It's happening what day? One more time?
February 8th.
February the 8th.
At the Vancouver Island Conference Center.
At the Vancouver Island Conference Center. Matt's going to take us away, but he's going to be dreaming about chicks at the wellness thing while they're playing ukuleles.
Yes, he
you
is.
know he is. Thanks, Matt.
Well, I definitely am a fan of fried chicken, which is, I'm assuming, what you're referring to. Huge thanks to Cathy, Teresa, and Isabella. Trio of troopers in behind me now, thanks to the Magic of Television, know how to raise a little well, raise a little well, raise a little well. All right, I got that one. Anyways, I also want to give a huge thank you to all of our volunteer staff, a lot of our guests, Anela as well. We were actually supposed to shoot this episode 2 weeks ago, but due to the snowstorm, we had to reschedule for today, and a lot of folks were able to make it happen. So a huge thank you to them. I was really happy we got to start off talking about hockey as well. So that leads me to my recap of the storm, because there was a storm back then that was brewing. Not a hurricane or an avalanche, but it was cold and really only suitable for a penguin. There was wild lightning, scattering maple leaves around like loan sharks being chased by coyotes. And I tell you, don't feel bad for those devils, because loan sharks are around the worst kind of predators. As the snow piled up, birds and other types of flyers had difficulties. We saw blackhawks shaking their red wings like sabers, trying to stay warm, until just like what happened over in Newfoundland, a crew of Canadian Rangers arrived, flown in like kings on chartered jets, dressed in their blue jackets and insulated snow panthers. Based on a decree, of course, from our federal senators, not wanting to fan the flames of discontent or ducks from any responsibilities, they conducted capital's punishment on all the snow on the ground, and it cleared it all out. So today, the clouds parted. We saw blue sky filled with stars, and Oilers be darned, we could actually shoot our episode of the show today on this golden night with our fellow Islanders. Go Canucks, go! Go Canucks, go! Go Canucks, go! Go Canucks, go! All right, thanks again to everyone for being here. Thanks to our staff in front of the cameras and volunteers behind the scenes. Have an event, cause, demonstration, snow, hockey game you want to bring to the show. We're always looking for great Central Island guests, so please do drop us a line. You can find more about this program on Facebook, as well as check out previous episodes of the program on YouTube as well. Before we wrap up this snow-free edition of the show, one more song. It's probably good we had someone from Hawaii, I think, to bring the great weather. One more song from Anela Kahiamoe called Wishing Star. Cheers, and thank you so much for watching the show.
Mahalo, thank you very much. I'd like to thank my wife and my stepdaughter from Scorpio's Hair Salon for doing my hair today. Mahalo. Wishing on a falling star, wishing that you would love me just as much as I love you, girl. Yeah, as much as I love you. Yeah, I wanna run away with you, somewhere far away from here, just you and me. Yeah, simple and free, just you and me. Yeah. Oh, I can dream, dreams do come true. Waking up and you are here. Yeah, lying next to me. Yeah. snow keeps falling from the sky. The town's so pretty like the look I get when I gaze into your eyes. When I gaze into your eyes. Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh, I can dream. Oh, I can dream. Mahalo. Thank you very much.